We have a very distributed BI. It's not just in a room of analysts. We've been able to take processes that took hours and reduce them to minutes.
Hi, I'm Bruno Aziza, and today I'm sitting down with Jeff Huckaby from Pilot Travel Center. Jeff, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
You're a long-time Microsoft Business Intelligence customer, and you were just awarded on the top 25 information manager list on information management. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Very humbled to receive that award from Information Management Magazine. And it's a reflection of, I've got an incredible team, Tom Souders, Papa Jaw. They do an amazing job. And
so both a combination of great people and great software. We want to know the secrets behind your work. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about the company.
Sure. Work for Pilot Travel Centers, who were now known as Pilot Flying J. Back in July of 2010, we acquired Flying J, and we are the largest over-the-road diesel provider in North America. We're one of the top 10 privately held companies in the United States, and we have over 20,000 employees. We've in 2009 we did over $18 billion in revenue. So
this is a large company. You might have stopped at their location because you're both in the gas industry, gasoline industry, as well as retail, and you've got a fairly complex business model there, right?
Yeah, it's very complex. We've got both the retail side, where we, sell cigarettes, chewing gum, candy, the cooler items, red energy drinks, such as Red Bull, plug for them, and electronics, truck supplies, GPSs for our truck drivers, our professional drivers. And then we also own and operate, we're franchisees of concepts such as Wendy's, Subway, Taco Bell. So, restaurant businesses are totally different from retail businesses. So it's a very complex company.
So you've got lots of movement in those locations, great operational efficiency, and we'll get to that. But what you also have is great use of strategic business intelligence. So for instance, tell us about the acquisition and how that went down, and more importantly, how BI helped you be efficient there.
Sure. Actually, I think we've got kind of an incredible story around that, just from a speed perspective. On July 1st, when we got the approval for the acquisition, we began to get text files in from Flying J, years and years of item level data, millions and millions of rows of data, and we were able to take that text files, merge that or match that together with an Excel spreadsheet that was maintained by our price put group, and they had mapped out our UPC to their UPC. We're able to quickly merge that together with our sales data, our cost data, our gross profit data, and then, and 4 hours later, when we handed it off to marketing, they were able to look at years of trends and see where we do a great job in some of our products, and they were, and it was apples to apples. It was in our product hierarchy, and we were also looking at Flying J as well. And we realized that they do a great job with hot deli, selling things like pizza, which is actually a great pizza product. And so now we're beginning to see where we're selling the pizza.
So this is a great example, both in the outcome, which is the insights that you get, but also in the whole process of getting, I guess, unstructured data from a document and being able to work it through Excel and the Microsoft BI products you had and get a product that your team could work with, but also the marketing team could work with, so you could get to action much faster.
Yes.
You said within 4 hours?
4 hours. And we've, when we do some BI applications, and we do them pretty fast, but not that fast. So we were very impressed with the speed of Power Pivot, and it was 190 million rows of data. And we didn't have to do this on the supercomputer. We did, this whole thing on an 8 gig, a laptop that had 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's
incredible. So you might have heard from some vendors out there and trying to tell you that you need to use huge systems to solve almost 200 million rows here, and then what we're talking about here is the process of going from unstructured data using really efficient business intelligence software and the drive to a great set of insights that both IT and the business can use. Now, you've mentioned a product called Power Pivot, so if you want to find out more about what Power Pivot is, you simply go to powerpivot.com. We'll show you this URL here. This is an example of strategic business intelligence, but operationally, especially with the margins that you have, you must have a great system for helping your people get better insights. So tell us how that works.
Sure. We have a very distributed BI. It's not just in a room of analysts. We actually, our store managers, their managers, general managers, region managers, division managers, on up to the CEO.
Yeah.
Everybody is off this, is working off the same page, if you will. They can drill down into their data. They can see exactly where they have issues at. And, from a sales perspective, gross profit, losses, inventory issues. So very quickly they can get to that answer. Probably our best example, I think, of operational intelligence is with our cashier upsells. We measure their upsell ability. So if next time that you're in one of our stores, I expect you to go to them now.
I go to them all the time.
Okay, great. Take the Pepsi challenge here, if you will. Sorry for the plug there. But take a theater pack candy.
Yeah.
And take it up to the desk and see if they'll offer you 2 for the promo price. And we capture that information. We record on it. The managers at the stores have an instant. They hand that out to them with a cashier's check, and it's a instant coaching opportunity for them to look at their cashier upsell trend. Over different products.
And so this is a great example. Many of you might be thinking about the future of business intelligence, and you might start with business intelligence only a few places. But what you're talking about here is the vision that everybody wants to get to, I think, which is BI everywhere and being used here by 20,000 people across the company.
Yeah, and it's so important because, we had, when we first deployed that, a very interesting story. We asked a store manager, hey, who's your best cashier?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, without a doubt, Sally. And we said, okay, and he actually went on to say, if I lost Sally, it'd be the end of the world, I'd be fired, the store would go downhill. We said, okay, we get she's important.
Yeah.
Let's look at the data. We looked at the data. She was touching the majority of the transactions, but she was probably about 8th, on the cashier roster of her upsell ability. So when we told him that April was at the top of the list, he said, no, this cannot be right. I almost fired April last week. So we thought we failed. We said, okay, well, you go back to the store, observe, give us a call back in a couple weeks, let us know. We went back with our heads down thinking, we failed at this implementation. He called back and he said, you know what? I thought she was bad because I thought she talked way too much, with the customers, and our managers are so busy. They get pulled in 90 different directions. And throughout the course of the day, he wasn't aware that she was upselling to our customers.
Yeah.
So that has changed the whole dynamic, I think, of our company, and it's changed the retail culture of our company.
This is a great example if we might be experiencing limitations or maybe barriers to the adoption of business intelligence. Sometimes it's a cultural change, and I think a way to enable that is to have business intelligence everywhere across the organization.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot more that we can talk about here operationally, but one thing that's really interesting about your business intelligence is the way that it helps you save and generate revenue. So help us out here. How do you calculate return on investment, and how do you calculate the contribution of business intelligence to your business?
Well, a couple different ways. One, I made mention that our general managers are very, very busy at our store. Mm-hmm. So we've been able to take processes that took hours and reduce them to minutes, tens of minutes.
To get efficiency right away.
Yeah, that's real labor savings there. And, in a company our size, it escalates very quickly to millions and millions of dollars. We've also been able to the insight that we've been able to gain. We're also able to do things through different data mining clustering. We're able to say, hey, Mr. Store Manager, you've got a problem with these 5 UPCs. Okay, and a quick story about that is we were able to detect, using the Microsoft BI stack and some custom .NET code, we're able to detect, a box of Slim Jims. The manager had put it out on the shelf, and he put the box of Slim Jims that was supposed to be in the very back, mm-hmm. in front of the pemmican beef jerky. And he put the box there. The box is much higher. People couldn't see the pemmican beef jerky. We were able to detect that, and so we got very finite to say, hey, you've got a problem with the pemmican beef jerky. He went up to the shelf, saw that, oh, yeah, this is why people can't see it.
I see.
Switched it around, and it came off the list. Sales increased.
That's incredible insights. What types of savings are you experiencing?
Well, we've been able to do a couple things. With inventory, we came up with an inventory system to be a little bit more precise with some of our counts. That led to an ordering system. We reduced inventory by around $13 million. Same time, we increased sales quite a bit on the retail side of things. So, I mean, that's one example of real money.
And so, you're doing this when it's a very agile business model where everything is fluctuating around you, the gas prices and so forth. And,
yes.
And you're also doing prediction that allow you to forecast where you're going to be, which is a great example. You want to talk about that too?
Yeah, absolutely. What we do is we actually forecast sales at an hour level, especially for the restaurant side of the business. Very labor intensive, and you've got to have the right amount of labor, or you as a customer, you're going to have a bad experience at one of our restaurants. So it's very important to get that right. And so what we've been able to do is at an hour level, forecast our sales, and then we apply that by concept to different labor matrices. So we've been able to not overspend on labor and provide good customer service at the same time.
So let me get this right. 20,000 employees, great insights, great savings. And you talked about your team earlier. You must have an army of people working on that. How many people are on your team?
Counting myself, we have 3.
3 people.
3 people.
Jeff, thank you very much for the insights. You're very active. People can get to you. Here's your Twitter handle. You're very involved with BI user communities. You're also involved with universities. So I hope that people are going to contact you after this. And again, congratulations for your award.
All right. Thanks for having me, Bruno.
Until next time, I'm Bruno Aziza.